And so I'm going to close with this one point about cliches that I think is vitally important, right? So, and this is from the conservative perspective. I've done, how do I put this? I basically have done a lot of thinking about what I think about politics, and I basically think it all boils down to Locke versus Rousseau. You can pick in your own. For all I know, Steve is a Rousseau fan, and we're going to have a big argument. But so, and I use them as sort of literary symbols, right? So the vision of John Locke is that the individual is sovereign, that, that our rights come from God, not from government. We form government to do limited things, but we retain all of the rights to ourselves. Man is born from, as Irving Berlin called it, the crooked timber of humanity. We are born in sin, and we need to be made as best as we can in this life, but the real life is in the afterlife. The Rousseauian version is the complete opposite, basically. The group is more important than the individual. Our rights mean nothing outside of the general will. Man is born, he says, man is born a noble savage, right? Or man is born free, and he's put in chains by civilization. The problem with things is that we're born great and we're made bad by civilization. Locke has sort of a different approach. Now, I think this tells you a lot about the history of left and right, but I think it tells you more about the line that's written straight through the human heart. We are all a little Lockean. We are all a little Rousseauian. We all want to be part of a cause larger than ourselves. We are hardwired. We were born from birth to want to belong to a tribe, to a band of people all working together. But we also all want to be recognized as unique individuals making a unique contribution. That I am me and nobody else is, and that I have value, that I deserve respect. And we all feel that way. And so the thing is that at the end of the day, this fact leads to what I call the fundamental category error in politics. And what I mean by that is that it is a mistake that libertarians never make, conservatives only rarely make, and the progressives take as the heart of a political philosophy. And the mistake is essentially this: government cannot love you. Government cannot be your mommy or your daddy. It cannot be your tribe. It cannot fill the holes in your soul. It cannot give you meaning. It can only do very limited things well. And the things that you want most in life come from elsewhere. You can fill the hole in your soul from politics, which is different than government. Right? I know people dedicated entirely to political creatures. They love campaigns. They love the camaraderie. It's like working for a firehouse. They just love to be in the mix. That's a different thing. But government cannot deliver through a program happiness to people. It cannot deliver satisfaction to them. The best government programs, and some of them are left-wing or liberal, and some of them are conservative and right-wing, the best they can do is provide the opportunity to pursue happiness. And you're getting a big argument about how that's all how that all works, and I think you guys can guess where I come down on it. But at the end of the day, the thing that I think is lost on so many people is that people are constantly trying to come up with different ways to foster community through government. That government is basically those things that we all do together, right? That if we just all work our hardest and try our best, we can make this the best yearbook ever. We can get that feeling from government, right? And the simple fact is that you can't. And the amazing thing is that capitalism, free market economics, the Lockean revolution, whatever you want to call it, is the single greatest, first of all, it's the single greatest anti-poverty program ever conceived of, ever delivered. For about 200, if you read Deirdre McCloskey, it's absolutely convincing on this. For about 200,000 years, human beings lived essentially on $3 a day. And then starting around 1600, 1700, because of a revolution of how we think about things, a revolution about this idea of human dignity for everybody, and that bourgeois money-making, this Lockean idea that the fruits of your labor belong to you and that's something to be proud of, we have seen a rise in prosperity, the likes of which humanity had never seen before. And that is a wonderful thing, and is why I'm very happy to be on that side. Because I think, the fact that I am on the side of fighting poverty rather than keeping poverty alive as an issue is something I'm very proud of. But at the end of the day, capitalism is the best, most communal enterprise ever conceived of. It has only one flaw. It doesn't feel like it. It is so good at it that people don't notice it. And they're constantly looking for something to fix what they think is lacking from it. The greatest essay in the history of libertarianism is an essay called I, Pencil. written by a guy named Leonard Reed. It's written from the perspective of the pencil. It begins something like, I am an Eberhard in favor, number 2, pencil, blah, blah, blah. And the pencil goes on to point out that no one knows how to make a pencil. It says, you know, my paint comes from in, you know, Delaware, and my rubber comes from Indonesia, and my wood comes from Canada, my graphite comes from Mordor, wherever graphite comes from. And only the last 1% of it is all put together by pencil manufacturers. But none of those people know how to, you know, the wood guys don't know how to make the tin, and the rubber guys don't know how to make the graphite, and they come from different countries, have different religions, speak different languages, they're separated by thousands of miles of ocean, and yet they work seamlessly to produce something that comes in at less than a penny a pencil. Imagine if government tried to create pencils, right? There's a guy in Britain at the British Museum who did an exhibit called I Toaster. He made a toaster from scratch. He forged the tin, he galvanized, I don't know how you make toasters, okay? But he made a toaster. It took him 8 years. It was a really crappy toaster. And so, I just close with my boss at the American Enterprise Institute, Arthur Brooks, he's big on this idea called earned success, that real happiness can only come from earned success. And what he means by that, it's not necessarily money. Catholic priests, nuns, whoever, I mean, there are lots of people who have senses of, you know, stay-at-home moms. There are all sorts of things you can do to have a sense of earned success. But if someone gives you something, you can take no pride of it. It's why I don't like the youth politics, identity politics thing. It's just, you know, you're taking pride in something you had literally nothing to do with. And the wonderful thing I like about capitalism is that you can earn your success. Government can't, no one can earn success for you. And so at least for the young people in the audience, the thing I would say about it is, whether you're left wing or right wing, that's all fine. The important thing is, at the end of the day, happiness comes from doing something that you take pride in. From actually putting in the time and doing the work yourself. And whether it's coming up with a political philosophy that you can take pride in, or building birdhouses. I don't give a rat's ass. And all I ask on a place like University of Colorado at Boulder is that you think about, that's how you should be organizing your life. Is not thinking about how we could just fix the system, everything will be better for me. But instead, how can I make use of the opportunities available to make things better for myself? Because if you can do that on your own, you will have a much happier life. Anyway, thank you all very much.